Hi DIYers, this is Frank at Alarm Grid. We're back in the Alarm Grid video lab and we're working on the 2 gig GC3 control system today. You'll see its predecessor, the GC2 below. The new GC3 has a nice large touchscreen and in the future will be compatible with the 2 gig encrypted sensors that have yet to release. Today we'll be working on programming the Honeywell 5800 PIR-RES, that's PIR-RES for residential. This is our most popularly sold motion detector. It comes with the Honeywell Lynx Touch kits and also just happens to be the most popularly sold sensor we offer. So it's a great unit. It's a little bit smaller, more compact than the 2 gig PIR-1-345 that we have another video on. And we just prefer this for a few reasons. It has a transmission lockout feature that basically serves as a battery saving feature. And what happens is the second time this is tripped, when the system is disarmed only, it will go to sleep for 3 minutes. During that 3-minute battery saving lockout period, it will not trip, it will not transmit anything to the panel, and then once it wakes up, it will then be live again. So when you're doing testing, keep that in mind. If this trips before you arm away, then it will essentially be asleep until that 3-minute cycle is up. The second thing to consider when you're testing is if motion detectors generally are set on interior zone types, and I'll show you that when we go to program in a moment, either interior follower or interior with delay. If you have it set on one of those two settings, the motion will be disabled during arming. So only during arm away will this be active. There is an auto stay feature where if you don't actually exit an entry-exit door during the delay period when you arm away, it will auto stay and then this motion will be disabled. That's another issue in testing sometimes. You may not physically leave the home when you're testing. You can just go open and close the door during that exit period and that will allow the system to actually arm away and then you can test the motion. So with those two things in mind, we're going to show you how to program the unit. So we'll first, you'll see we're at the home screen here. We'll hit the 2 gig icon on the top right and then enter the installer code. We are using our default 1561. We can then go to system config. Obviously, if you've already changed your installer code, you can use that to get in. After you hit system config, we can go to wireless zones and we'll click edit zone here. If you have existing programming, you'll want to go down to the next open slot and then click edit on the right. So we'll go into the sensor type here. This is the most common type is interior follower. I'd say 90% of the time you'll use this as interior follower. What that means is that it is disabled during arm stay. It's enabled during arm away. It will follow your entry-exit delay. So if a door is opened and that fault sends to the system when the system is armed away, this motion will then follow that and allow motion to be detected without tripping the alarm during that entry delay period. If an intruder gains access to your secure premise and trips this motion before an entry-exit door is opened, then it's an instant alarm. So it's a little bit more secure that way. Interior with delay is the other common zone type. This would be if this is maybe in a garage and you don't have a contact in your garage overhead door and you want to use, this will be the first sensor that detects motion before an entry-exit door is tripped. It's common in entryways, maybe even areas where the motion is looking directly at an exit door, so that basically the motion trips by seeing the door open before the fault is able to register to the panel. So you want to weigh on the side of caution there. If this is looking directly at an entry-exit door, or will be the first sensor tripped during normal operation day to day as you're coming in and out of the home before an entry-exit door is open, you can keep this on interior with delay. We actually want to keep this on interior follower in our case because we'll have the door to our lab open before this will be tripped. So we'll go down to sensor equipment. You'll notice once you put in interior follower or interior with delay, the equipment type automatically gets changed to motion. It's smart enough to know that that is the most common type of device for that sensor type. and then we'll go to equipment code. We can click the icon on the right there, and we'll scroll down to Honeywell. I've noticed that this unit doesn't have its own selection here, so you can either use one of these other PIRs, 5890, or you can come down to an existing motion detector. We'll just use existing for now. So we've already set the equipment code as the existing motion detector, and we'll go ahead and move down to serial number. We have our motion detector open here. We'll go ahead and pop the battery in and close it up. Now, on the Honeywell alarm systems, I've noticed that you can auto-enroll these by putting the battery in and tripping these in the first couple of minutes. I haven't had the best of luck doing that. You may be able to do it, but for motions, you can just manually enter these. Just make sure you do double and triple check to avoid any user errors. So on the back side here, we have 0398508. There is a serial number also listed on the inside of the motion detector. So if you already have it wall mounted, you can just step up on a ladder and pop the faceplate open by depressing the tab, opening it up like this, and then you can see on the back side of the front part of the motion, there's a serial number there as well. So we'll just make sure that we have that documented properly, and then we can move down to the next selection here. We have equipment age as new. Sensor loop here, we'll move down. The loop on this device is always loop 1, so we want to keep that on loop 1. As discussed earlier, we have transmission delay, and what that means is if we always want to keep this disabled. By default, it is enabled. Now, we have another video on discussing how to set the transmission delay period, but by disabling this, it basically tells the system that when this motion is tripped and triggers an alarm, send it out to the central station immediately. We always recommend doing that. Unless you have issues with false alarms, in that case, you can always enable a transmission delay to avoid false alarm fines. We have voice descriptor here, and this is where we can name the motion. We'll put this in as the living room motion. You'll see how once I start typing the word, it'll give you the ability to select the rest of the word there. Living room motion. Okay, we'll hit done. Okay, the next couple lines here, sensor reports. We always want this to report to the central station so that we know when this occurs. Sensor supervision. We always want to have this supervised so that if it ever does not check in during the supervisory interval, the system will notify you through the form of an RF supervision trouble. The last thing in here, we'll do sensor chime. If this was in an area of the home where every time you faulted it, you wanted to get a chime to the panel, maybe a garage motion, or maybe it's in a closet, secured area, you could set that. Since this is in the living room, and every time we walk through the living room, I don't want a chime or voice enunciation, I'll actually keep that disabled for now. And we'll hit return to system config. Back out, we'll save here at the summary screen. You can look through here and use this as an opportunity to just double check that the serial number is correct. And we'll see here 0398508 is the same. We'll save and then back out. And now you can install your motion detector. If it was already installed, that's fine. You can just now do a walk test. We do have a different video on our channel on how to do the walk test with the GC3. So if you have any other questions on programming your 2 gig PIR 5800 PIR-RES, you can email us at support@alarmgrid.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.